Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're doing well today. Today is very cold. It is December 22nd and I wanted to give you guys a review of a rifle that I've had sitting around for a while. I kind of held off on the review because I was manufacturing this into an MG. You know what that means. But it's still in its normal configuration, so I'll go ahead and review it before I do that conversion, and that is the B&T, the APC223 Pro. So if you're interested in finding out more about this rifle, stick around. All right, so by now everyone knows who B&T is. And guys, I've always had this affinity for short-barreled ARs. I always loved them. This one is actually the Pro model. It is a factory SBR, and that's a good way to start it off because I'm not having to worry about barrels or anything like that for the conversion. Now, this is not an inexpensive rifle. Just like anything that the Swiss make, especially B&T, you're talking about high quality, high precision, and a high price tag. This rifle, the way you see it, without the optics or the light or anything, is going to start out at about $4,100. Guys, that is twice the price of a factory Mark 18 Daniel Defense. And you know, Daniel Defense has a long-standing name in the industry with a strong reputation, but you can get one of these base price about $2,500 for Mark 18. Another one that's a good option and that I really like, and I have a couple of these, is the Geisley, the Super Duty. Now this one's in a 12.3. I don't have this one in a 10.3, but that's for a different purpose, and that's for another video actually. But let's talk about this APC Pro. So starting at the back, you have the MBT buttstock. This is a really nice buttstock. It is very similar or reminiscent to what you would see on some of the SCAR rifles because of the way that you have this polymer cheek riser. Just reminds me of a SCAR. Just the way that it kind of sets up gives you a good cheek riser. You do have a rip stock on the back, so you can pull that and get it adjusted. You can also squeeze it and then micro adjust it to where you need it. This one is a folder. So you have a couple of different options as far as B&T with the telescoping stocks, but it is a folder like this, and there is no buffer tube, so it can be shot just like this. Not that you would ever want to shoot it that way, but you could. Now let's stop here for a moment. This is one of my biggest complaints about this rifle, is that there is no positive securing of this latch. So just one little small bump like that, and actually it doesn't take much. I guess if you got good at it, you could do that and flick it. And maybe that was why, but I don't like it not being captive. So that's a downside to it. You do have some QDs on the backside as well, some lanyard points, and it just has a rubber buttstock on the end here. So the button to depress it is actually pretty simple. It actually presses really easy, and it clips open very easy, so no issues with that. It does come with a little lanyard loop for your sling that comes with the rifle. And then moving forward, you have your normal controls for your ambidextrous safety or your fire control group. I like it. It's very smooth, it's very quick, very intuitive. You do have captured trigger pins. This does come factory with an Elftman trigger. They were very popular in the day. Spoke to Art many times. He's the owner of that, and they do a good trigger, but that's what comes factory on this. You have full ambi controls, everything from your magazine release on the right side with your bolt release on the right side. You can also use that as a bolt hold. Now, there were many different generations of this. You had a generation 1, generation 2, and they had a reciprocating charging handle. This one does not. They've updated that, so there is no reciprocation of this charging handle, so you don't have to worry about it smacking your thumbs. On the APC223 Pro, you do have these charging handles on either side that retract, and then on the left side, here's that magazine release and your bolt release. The grip is a Magpul grip, so it is a standard AR grip, and this uses the regular Stanag mags. You have a constant rail that goes across the top, and right here, the handguard, you actually have Picatinny at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Comes with 2 of these rails here in the kit, and you have M-LOK on the sides. This is a piston-driven gun, and for those that maybe want a piston driven. Typically in the early days, piston guns were very, very heavy. And the advantage of a piston gun is it allows you to shoot suppressed without getting all of that gas and everything back into the face. It can vent all that out forwards. It's usually a little bit of a sharper recoil, but this does have an adjustable gas setting on the end, which is very, very easy to manipulate. It's actually marked with like 1, 1, 1, 3, and 1, 5, I believe, on this model. And then this is how you adjust the gas. So you have normal, which is straight up and down. You have adverse, and then you have suppressed. And to disassemble it, you just use the tip of a bullet and you take out the piston itself. This is a 10.3 inch barrel. This is not the factory flash hider that comes with it. This is the B&T, the Surefire closed tine. I did upgrade that because I do like that one a little bit better than the factory one that was on there. As far as the controls and everything, guys, this is a quality firearm. And you can definitely tell when you're holding it. But anyway, that is the review of this rifle. But I want to shoot it. So I've heard some mixed reviews about accuracy. What we're going to do is we're going to test it at 100 yards. But guys, this is a super, super lightweight platform. I think it comes in just over 6 pounds. It is very compact and it is very maneuverable. All right, so before we start shooting it on paper, I just wanted to let you guys know this does have the Unity First. This is a high mount. This is for using basically nods or anything like that, where you're not having to try to get down with a set of nods. You also have some backup irons inside of this. That's why there's no backup irons. Remember, you always want to run a set of some type of secondary sighting system. I do have the 4-system suppressor on here, and guys, just realize anytime you're running a suppressor on an SBR, it's going to be loud regardless. It does work well. I still have the ears in. I do have a 20 round Lancer mag, and we're going to see how this thing runs. I have a target at 50 yards. I typically on a dot will run a 200 yard zero. Some people call it a 50/200, but we'll see how it does. So let's go ahead and start running this. All right, 50 yards, bladed target. Yeah, so very, very intuitive. I don't know if you guys can see that. Very, very soft shooting. Like I said, we are at 50. And we do have last round bolt hold. Very, very soft recoil impulse. And remember, this is a flow-through style suppressor, and I have it on full gas. What we're gonna do is we're gonna knock it down to suppressed and see if it runs, see if it's any softer. I am just shooting the PMC X-Tac. And a little windy because I've been running back and forth to the target. So let's try to shoot it some more. All right, so what we're gonna do now is run it on that suppressed setting. We'll do a couple up-down drills. I'll see how much smoother it is, if any. And here we go. And that's at 50, so pretty good setup. Let's go ahead, let's just go here. Pretty easy at 50. Let me move the camera. We'll do 100, 130, 150 and see how it does. Man, I hope everyone's having a Merry, Merry Christmas. I'm not going to be able to get all this into view. I can do the 100 and 135. Just shooting standard PMC X-Tac. All right, just using an aim point dot, and let's go ahead and turn this down some. This is 100 yards. Yep, impact. Let's do it again. Impact. Now we'll do 135. Impact. Let me move the camera over, guys. And we'll move it to 150 and 200. That way you can see both. All right. Busted my knuckle on something. Man, guys, it is so cold out here, I can't even feel my hands. So we'll do 150. That was me. That's not me, that was impact. And we'll go for the 200. Here we go. Okay, impact, I don't know exactly where, but so far, guys, this thing shoots outstanding, but it also should for that kind of money. Let's check it over here. I think I reached the limits of the gimbal. Is it still reaching me? No, that's it. It's like chasing R2-D2 around. Here we go. And we are out. So far 100%. The only thing I did with this, guys, is I just put oil on the bolt carrier group. I'll show you how that tears down, but in this suppressed setting, guys, this is a super soft rifle for a piston gun. It does have that hydraulic buffer, but so far pretty darn impressed with it, but I should be for $4 grand, right? All right, so now let's go ahead and test it on paper at 100 yards. Guys, I'm not gonna pretend this is a precision rifle. This is a 10.3-inch barrel. So shooting regular 55 grain, the PMC X-Tac, I'm expecting somewhere around a 3-inch group at 100 yards. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I've never put this on paper. In my defense, I actually have read a lot of horror stories about accuracy with these. Hopefully that's not the case, and I think that was the first gen stuff. This does have a cold hammer forged barrel. So let's see. I'm going to leave it on the regular gas setting, and we'll shoot it 100 yards on the red field. Also keep in mind, I haven't dialed this in. I know it'll be close enough on paper. I just pulled this straight off my DMR rifle, and what we'll do is we'll see if we can get it you know, a decent group. Just let's see here if this is going to be too high. That should work. All right, give them the best fighting chance that they've got anyway, right? Okay, so nothing's touching the barrel. We've got a Night Force 4-14, and here we go. Yeah. Okay, so first 5 shots after the cold bore, because the rifle's been sitting, we've got over a 3-inch spread. If you look at the overall group though, that first shot was way low. What we're gonna do now is we'll go for top right diamond, and we're gonna be shooting 77 grains, and we're shooting for group. Here we go. Okay, that is pretty darn acceptable. So this rifle does not like PMC X-Tac. Yeah, in no way, shape, or form did it really like that. But when we used the 77 grain, and I was shooting the Black Arc, which is some phenomenal stuff, that is going to measure a little over an inch. I'll get you guys a reading on that. All right, so I will tell you, over the course of today, I've shot a lot of ammo through here, and what I'm getting is a light primer strike. That's 3 rounds so far, and that wasn't just with the Black Arc, it was also with the PMC. Yeah, so under 2 inches. I did have, in full disclosure, guys, I've never been a big fan of the Elfman triggers. I had an issue with them a long time ago, back in the day when I was doing 3-gun myself, and I also know that Rob Romero had some issues as well. That was many years ago. I was hoping that had been resolved. Let me go ahead and find these rounds. All right, those are the 3 light primer strikes. All right, so disassembly is very easy, very straightforward. Of course, first thing you want to do is make sure that everything is empty. Once you do that, let's go ahead and drop the bolt. Once we drop the bolt, now what we want to do is push out the 2 push pins that are here on the bottom. All right, so on these 2 push pins here, all we're going to do is pull these out. Then what we're going to do is just pull this lower off. And then this is very similar to a SCAR, the way that it pops in and out. And then what we do is we pull back on this, on the charging handle, and this is going to be very reminiscent of something like what a SCAR looks like. And on the trigger group, it's just a standard trigger group. That's it. So that is the upper part. This is an aluminum upper. It does have steel rails. This is why you have the torque screws here for those. Now on the piston system, what you're going to do is you're going to take this, rotate it, and then once you go here, now what we need to do is on the end, there is another little small button there that we have to press. I'm just going to use a stick
Like I said, this stuff should be able to be done out in the field. There we go. And then what we do is we take that piston system out. So that's it. Very simple, very lightweight. You can see the different regulator holes here for your different gas settings. And this keeps everything nice and clean to run a lot smoother. So what we're going to do is put this back together. Back to our normal setting. All right, so from here to reassemble it, now that we've got the piston in, we're just going to place the recoil spring back in. We're going to place that in. Like I said, it's for field maintenance. And guys, you can remove these if you like. Let me just show you that very quickly. All we have to do is move that to the rearward position, come to here, and then we can actually pull that out. So if you don't need both, you don't have to have them, or if you want them on one side or the other, you could do that. But like I said, it does have ambi controls on everything. From there, we want to make sure this is that hydraulic buffer that you guys can see that helps with the recoil. What we're going to do is we're going to place this in this position, slide it up, that's all together, and then now we just snap the lower back on. So disassembly and maintenance is extremely clean. As far as the buttstock, like I said, there is no retainer on it. All this is a plastic hinge, and that is the B&T APC223. All right, so after spending a day on the range with the B&T, the APC223 Pro, what are my thoughts on the actual rifle itself? Guys, remember, it is always a trade-off, okay? A 16-inch AR is not a 22-inch AR or a 20-inch. Anytime you go with a shorter barrel, you are going to sacrifice some accuracy. It's just the way that it is. What you gain is portability and compactness. So with that being said, in the 10.3 platform, having a piston-driven system, I think it is a great option, with the exception of the fact that we did have 3 light primer strikes. I do think that is a little unacceptable for a tier 1 premium priced AR, regardless of where it comes from. It can come from Switzerland, it can come from wherever. I did not like that fact that I had 3 light primer strikes with 2 different types of ammo, and we didn't ask it to do anything that you wouldn't do on a normal range day. As far as the gas system, it works super well. Very, very smooth. Even after a day of shooting, we shot a total of 200 and something rounds today with no issues. As far as accuracy with the 55 grain, it didn't really care for the PMC X-Tac in 55 grain, but it did pretty well with 77 grains. I didn't have an opportunity to shoot 62s or 69s, just didn't have any with me, but in my opinion, it is well within the accuracy range for a 10.3-inch rifle. My other complaint is with this MBT stock. I love the stock. I love what you can do for adjustability. I just don't like that, okay? I don't like things that are loose. I am going to change this trigger out. I'm not a big fan of the trigger. While I was hoping that the Elfman trigger did do better, I did have an issue way back in the day with some of the Elfman triggers, and so I think I will be departing from those. No dig on anyone. It's just the facts, guys. You guys know that I'm all about full disclosure on any of my videos that I do, and I appreciate each and every one of you that watches. If I don't put a video out before Christmas, I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Remember, spend that time with your family. You only get to do this entire game once, and make the best of everything. You guys take care. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll try to get another video out, but no promises. You guys take care. Have a good one.